Hey guys, here's Louie. So, I've been really busy on the 68 Firebird. And if you guys notice, she looks a little different. I was able to put the Firebird badges on. And I also want to show you guys the baffles. So everything is nice and painted. Okay, satin black. And this is the correct way of how you mount your baffles. Okay, this one going on top of these. All right, not this over this one. No, this is the correct way of mounting them, how they did it back in the day. I'm really happy how everything is turning out. This is just fitting them on. I have to paint, like I don't have them laying around the garage, but I'm still missing. There's like a bumper bushing here that goes over here. I'm missing that. And to put that, you actually have to have this thing off and insert that first. All right. Another thing is my grills. I need to paint the grills. And for those of you that don't know, 68 Firebird, they was painted different from 67 Firebird. 67 Firebird, the inside will be like a silver. All right, all around. On 68 Firebird, they are black. Black, and just over here will be silver. I will be painting these, so I'm going to share with you guys what's the paint that I use, how I paint them, and what's the correct way for 68 Firebirds. So stay tuned, that will be coming up. I'm going through my parts here of the front light, marker lights. I'm picking out the best ones that I have for this car, and the rest I'll save it for another car in the future, which will be the 68 convertible that I will be building for my wife. And I have some nice fun facts here of the 2 years, and I'll get back to that. These are your license plate brackets, your rear license plate brackets, and I'm going to show you the difference. Here we have the rear marker lights. Those happen to be original, and I haven't polished up the chrome trim around the marker lights. I haven't done none of that. And this happens to be an original rear bumper, okay, which I inquired this rear bumper with a whole bunch of parts that was traded to me for a job that I did. And I went to my shed and I picked it up yesterday and just went through it. It has some pitting and it has some rust on the pitting like that. But check this out, I just cleaned it on this side, and boy, what a difference. So I'm thinking about maybe even staying with this one. It has one small little ding here, but I really don't mind. Being original, it fits excellent. I'm really happy the way this fits. Now, for sharing something with you guys over here, and Jonathan also shared his experience with the rear tail panel here. So on my 68 Firebird, this is an OER rear tail light panel. They drilled out one hole. They missed the second hole, and I have another hole here which Jonathan shared with you guys that is for the rear light, the rear license plate light. Let me grab one. I have several of them because I'm a Pontiac part hoarder, you could call me. So I'm talking about this. There's a hole here for this rubber grommet to go through, and it keeps the moisture away, keeps all that kind of stuff away. And you need to have that hole for you could fish through the hole, that rubber grommet. So this OER, I know I have the bumper on so you guys can see it, but the hole is here. But for your rear license plate bracket, they did put one hole, but they forgot to drill out the other hole. So you have to drill it out. You have to drill it out to the rear part of the tail light, which I'll be showing this. Just let me get her open. I still haven't put the key cylinders. I'm working on that little by little, but she's coming along. Okay, let's go. All right. There we go. Okay. So let me see if I could show you guys better here. Hope you guys could see this. So this hole here, which on my tail panel, it was drilled out. On Jonathan's, I forgot which tail panel, which manufacturer did he buy it from, but he actually told me none of the holes was drilled out and he had to drill it out. They are nice enough that on the floor of the trunk, I need to still clean it up and paint it. They give you like a guide point right here. You guys can see that. I hope you guys can see that. To drill it out. All right. And I'm going to use a step bit to drill it out. And I'll share with you guys the size and everything, how big the hole needs to be and all that. But if you don't drill out the other hole, you're not going to be able to mount the rear license plate bracket. All right. So that's why I make these videos, for the guys that do not know, they didn't mess with these cars as much as I have, gets to learn. Because let me explain something to you guys, and I believe I said it before. When I got to these cars and my first time ever restoring these cars, back when I was 22 years old, I bought my first Firebird, which is my 67. I did not have no help from no one or nothing in the internet. The internet was like barely there for little information, especially on these cars. There was nobody building them and sharing their videos or nothing like that. So I had to just learn by experience. Now, check this out. This is cool. So this is an original 67 rear license plate bracket. And this is an original 1968 Firebird rear license plate bracket. Let me explain myself, okay? So the bumper that I inquire in parts, it's an original bumper, okay, which it does fit 67 and 68 Firebird. Okay, 69 is different, but 68 and 67 Firebird is the same bumper. But when it comes to the bracket, do they look identical? 100%. Don't mind this. This is your license plate retainer. I'm missing it here, but don't mind this. I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about this bracket right here. In 1968, they welded the nuts on the bracket. See them right there? They welded. Right. I'm talking about these right here. Okay. In 67, they didn't. Okay, they not there. I mean, I don't even see like a welding mark where there was ever welded and they fell off or anything like that. And plus, it's clean. The metal underneath is clean. You don't see no welding marks or anything. All right. And here you could see the rust building up from so many years. All right. And I could tell that it's welded on. All right. But here it's so clean. No signs of welding or anything like that. And these happens to be the nuts that came off this bracket. Also, the nuts look nice and clean. Nothing welded. No marks of being ever welded on the bracket. So in 68, the nuts was welded on for you to mount it on the bumper. And in 67, no. Another thing how you could tell the difference is, look at how this is offset. Look at 68, nice and straight. 67, here is where you will fish the, that's like a grommet also here, a plastic grommet here, and you will fish the rear license plate light wire through here. Okay, look at how offset she is. So the camera is straight. Look at how offset she is. She's like leaning to the side. All right, 68 straight. 67, and it's not somebody bended or bended this or bended that. Number one, this metal is really hard to bend. Number one. Number two, these things never came off. Okay, the way I took it off was a lot of PB blaster and heat. If I never used my torch, I wouldn't be able to take them out. And that's how I did it. I used my torch. I got the nut nice and hot, and I was able to back this screw out. These are original screws. These are also original screws. This 68 bracket, rear license plate bracket, I found on this car. And I told you guys that the original owner of this car bought this car. He had the car since like 1976. All right. And it was a really original car. I mean, it was barely touched. This car was barely touched. And it was just nuts how original this car was. And I believe he never ever removed that rear bumper, except when they probably did some kind of body work, that I did find some body work done to the car in the back. But they use the same bumper. Matter of fact, I remember I have it back there now. Now I remember I have it back there, and she's bent. She's bent like when that car got hit in the rear at that time. So I'm going with a theory that is 100% original to the car. I also looked at another. I have two other 68s than this. I have two other cars. One I'm going to be saving. The other one I probably sell. The rear bumpers are on, and it happens to have the same bracket. Now I'm lucky to have a 67. I went to my 67 Firebird, and it's like this. All right, it's cocked to the side. So very cool facts that not so much people, I think, know out there. I happened to discover this just a couple of hours ago, but I figure I'll share it with you guys. And another thing I'll be showing, these are original hood hinges. Okay, me and Jonathan took this off the 69, sorry, the 69 Firebird convertible car that we decided that it will be a donor to be a candidate to save other Firebirds, which I started saving this one already because I have some parts from this car that we took off that car, and this happens to be the hood hinges. Now these hood hinges I'll be saving for the 68 convertible car. that I'll be building this fall. And the holes where the bolt goes, they nice and elongated. I have aftermarket hood hinges here on my 68 Firebird, and I'm finding that the rear corner are sticking too high when I close the hood. The rear corner of the hood is just sticking too high for me. And I know how to adjust these hoods. It's not the first hood I ever put on these cars. And this hood was originally in my 69 Firebird, because my 69 Firebird is an original AC car 350 car. But I removed it to make it a 400 car. So I had a 400 hood on it now, original 400 hood. And I always kept this one because I said, if I'm ever going to build another car, I'll have a hood. And bingo, there you go. There goes the other hood. So there is adjustments you will have to make. Okay, when I mean adjustments, you probably have to elongate that hole that I show you guys on the original hinge to make this more, it be able more to go back. All right. And like that, when you close your hood, boom, it'll slam down and nice and flat. I also got these bumper stops for the hood as she goes down. These are your bumper stops. Okay, hood bumper stops. It also came off the donor car, the 69 convertible. So this is what Louis is up to. I'm loving the way the car is looking. But these are things that you guys are going to face out there. All right. And I'm just think it'll be a big help to show you guys that it's not only you guys going through it, it's all of us that have to deal with the aftermarket panels. Once again, that rear tail panel is from OER. And that's what you have to do. I ran into the problem that I have to drill out one hole. Jonathan ran into the problem of drilling more than one hole. I think he had to drill all three of them, if I'm not mistaken. If he leaves a comment which one he bought, you guys could see it there. But yeah, that's the way it goes. But always look at the bright side. We should be thankful that we have aftermarket parts, because years ago you didn't, and when they started, they was terrible. All right. So let me get to the things that I'm doing, and I'll show you guys soon. All right, guys. So this is where I was talking about. So there's one hole here for the license plate bracket, and there's one hole here for the rubber grommet for the license plate light. You will wire, the wire will go through here, and the rubber grommet will go through there. Now on this OER tail panel, like I said earlier, there's no hole here. It's supposed to be two holes. But on the floor, the trunk floor, the metal trunk floor that I welded, they give you like a guide point to where does the hole goes. It's right there. Right here, this one. What I did, I took a hole punch. Let me see if I can. I took a hole punch to the middle here, and that's where I'm going to be drilling. Okay, guys, so as you can see, the hole is all drilled out now. Please, if you do this with a freshly painted car like I'm dealing with here today, the 68 that I just painted, it needs to have some tape on the paint side, because you do not want to harm the paint in any form, okay, in any ways. So what I did was I used a really skinny the smallest bit, and to drill the first pilot hole, and you gradually go up. And my weapon of choice was this step bit here, this step bit. And the reason I put the tape on it, I don't know if you guys could see that. I'm so sorry if you can't. But it's 9/16 the hole. Do not go bigger than 9/16. All right. Be honest with you, this one is slightly smaller, just slightly. But the closest to this on my step bit was 9/16, and there you go. All right. And this one is for the license plate light rubber grommet. Okay. So these are the bolts you will have. I'm going to change those bolts because they're no good. And it will go in here to be mounted to the tail panel. There you go. All right. So thanks God, no mistakes there. It fits like a glove. And these are little things you have to do to your car. If you are going to be restoring this on your own, in your garage, all right, these are things you have to just do to make it work. I still have a whole lot to do. I need to mount the hood tag. Like I said earlier in the video, the grills, the way I paint them is going to be in a different video because I don't want this video to get too long. But just to show you guys the little things you need to do, and I'm going to give you guys a tip here. When you are working by yourself, especially me, I'm always by myself in my garage unless Jonathan is coming over, which he comes over once a year. He needs to come over more often. And please, I mean, I cannot tell you the amount of times I had to use this little step stool here I made out of wood, if you want to call it that, and my jack stands. I built this car on the same setup you see on the floor. That's it. I did not use no frame jigs, no rotisserie, nothing. Just raw knowledge and going straight up with it. With that, I have a huge mess here on the bench, getting all my stuff taken care of. I'm really happy. I put on 2 more lights in the garage so I could see everything really nice. All right. So just let me give you guys a measurement on this. All right. So the length, she's about 15 inches in length, and the width, she's about 13 inches wide. Okay, and these are 4x4s post. Okay, and the top wood is about 1 inch thick. All right, and let me tell you something, what a help. Like I said, I built this 68 Firebird with this wood platform I did on jack stands, and the way you see this setup here is how I was able to mount this bracket with minimum of hurry to paint. I'm not gonna lie, I nicked it before I put so much tape on the car. I nicked it in some little areas, which once I have the bumper, you won't see those areas. But before I put the bumper back, I will touch it up with some paint because I have more than enough paint left over. Okay, you see, same setup here. And you put it close to the car, measure it with the bumper, and you should be golden. Okay, you won't hurt the car, you won't kill yourself putting the bumper by yourself. My next step will be to clean the inside of this bumper and put some primer in the inside. Okay, I'm going to use an oil-based primer. I got it in my local Ace hardware store. You're not gonna see it once I paint it, so I'm gonna paint it just to keep the metal from rusting and helping it. Once again, this is an original rear bumper, which the chrome still looks decent on it, so that's what I'm going to use on my Bird for now. Maybe in the future I will order a new one, But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it helps a whole lot of people out there, that these are the things you're going to be facing when you're building your cars with aftermarket panels. All right, guys, take care and keep your hands dirty. Bye bye.